So hello, Ronnie Morgan here, and welcome to my review of Danmachi episode 9. I think it was a really fun episode. It didn't progress story a lot though, but I found it was still a really good episode. I think that it's fine, because they had like back-to-back two very like story-driven episodes, right? And I had a little story in the end there. However though, it's also kind of hard to review the episodes and say it's really good, or it's good. And I would say it's just like a great episode, but it's not an amazing episode, because I think, for example, compared to Little Witch episode 18 a few weeks back there, that was an absolutely fun episode of that anime ever, and probably ever will be, and like of that anime, and it was like extremely funny, but it literally had zero story progression in the episode, like zero, like absolutely zero. But I would still say that's a 10-10 episode. If you look at it from my comedic episode, I'll give it 10 out of 10. And also the episode here, it's probably like a 9 out of 10 for me, like it's comedy, right? It's really funny, like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 8.5, 9. In comedy, right? But this episode has like maybe 5-10% story progression, or actually pushing story. So in that sense, it's kind of like, that's pretty weak, and it's hard to call it this like perfect episode or whatever, right? Because it really isn't. Like it's a really funny episode, but they don't spend a lot of time actually pushing the story like at all. So as I mentioned, yeah, so that's making it tricky. However, though, I mean, I kind of expected it, as I mentioned, because we haven't seen Bad for a long time. Back-to-back story, so it's crucially bad in the beginning there. And I have to say that this ISIS sexually harassing that poor guy pretty much, right? He's like, I like you, but I don't wanna. He's like embarrassed. He leaves. She jumps into and like ass slaps him pretty much in front of everyone. He's like, oh, I didn't mean touch your ass with my face, and I was like, yeah, this looks super weird. But the funny thing with it, on no matter where he's trying to avoid, right? She's purposely doing it, but at the same time, she has no like sex drive in a way, right? Ice is very like unemotional, right? And she can't really grasp people's emotions, what she finds that interesting, she ran away and so on. She's like, oh, it's fine, I don't care. Like it's one of my body parts that is a weapon in the situation. Like she's like, it's just a weapon for me, pretty much, right? And he's like, oh, it's really weird, Ice, please, Miss Valentine, this is weird. And everyone else is like, yeah, this is weird. And that muscular guy, naked muscular guy, is like, yeah, this is weird. And she's like, why is this weird, guys? I don't understand. And I was like, never I'll tell you. Right? So, like, no, you should know this, Ice. And, of course, that is, of course, a lot of the comedy with Ice. And why Lefiyea really works. Like, Lefiyea was funny. But this episode is all about Lefiyea pretty much. And it's really works because, at the first scene there, she's like, oh, me and Ice, we go on this journey, and we're gonna get kids. And she had this, like, super dreamy world. Like, Ice is perfect. And she's standing like, like, what you doing, Lefiyea? She's like, yes, again! And she's like, oh shit, she saw me again. Like it's happening every day to her. Like he's daydreaming. His very like lucid daydreams in front of Ice. She's like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, nothing. I'm not a pervert. Like, oh no. It's like every damn time, you know, pretty much, right? But however, that is funny because Lefiyea is funny and she's like super emotional. And of course, that is counter to Ice being like, okay, whatever you're doing, I don't care. Yeah, he's most characters to be like, yeah, okay, can you stop the place, whatever you sick pervert am I doing? Or Luke is like, yeah, it's like, yeah, stop that. But Ice is more like, oh, okay, good for you, Lefiyea, and let's go now. Yeah, and it's like, whatever. So it's like, you get this weird feeling, right? However, after that, this episode is all about Lefiyea being really fun. The faces of Lefiyea. Like a few weeks back, 2 weeks back, I call it the Urukara episode of her faces of my hero. This is like all about Lefiyea instead. It's like this laughable scene there when she sees Belle in the alley, and he's like, that guy, he's up to something. You get the kind of angry green, he's like, he's up to something. And then of course next time you see her getting the Netorared, right? He's like, my love, and he's down order a new face for her. And the next scene we see everyone being like, oh my god, who killed Lefiyea? She's a zombie now. She's really like the worst elf face ever. Like the saddest elf in history. She's like, and she's super, and then she got into Ice's face like, what the fuck did you do with that human? The fucking human, right? I found it really great. And I was really surprised over the next scene, actually, when it's mentioned that scene. The whole scene was the best scene, right? The whole, them eating, Lefiyea super shocked down. Tiana is like, what hell's he doing? And Ice like gets nothing. She's just like, what's wrong, Lefiyea? She's like, fucking bitch, you shitted on me. And she's like, we're not a couple. Kind of like, yeah, we never been a couple. What are you talking about? Kind of that thing, right? And suddenly, and I found it really, really the best part here, is of course when they're leaving, she started crying, and she's like, yeah, let's go out and let's talk. And I was like, what are you crying for? You're a crazy woman, let's go out and talk instead, honey. And we see them leaving, and we see Tiona, and Tiona's like, and they're like, food like dropping out of their mouth, like water raining out there. That scene was really weird. Took me for a loop, and I was like, what the hell is this scene? That was really funny. I was thinking about it and laughing about that. That scene was fucking hilarious. So I did not see it coming. They're like, something's wrong with Lefiyea, like, and like food like falling out, like that, like that's disgusting. But it's just like, what the hell is happening? And like, what after that, you see Lefiyea go back to being happy. It's like, oh, Ice loves me again, and so on. And of course, she ends up again seeing Belle being in her lap, and she's like, oh, another new face, and she's really stalking her. Right? It's like a freaking stalker, and it's so much fun. Like if we're following this like a super dream delusional stalker and thinks that they're a couple or something, and it shouldn't really be fun because it's like kind of sick in a way, right? But it's just really, really hilarious. And then after she's like, let's fight, guys. Let's fight, like, you can beat me down, like, if she beats me down, she's gonna take care of me, and she doesn't really get it there, she's like, no, and now she's like, you have no physical strength, so it's like, what the hell's happening, and of course, go back and forth, oh my god, there's so much about Lefiyea, right? However, though, I actually kind of like the ended here, because it kind of ended with her actually falling for Felvis, right? It's like, in the end, it's like, she meets Felvis, and they go out to train instead, after they eat some nice cupcakes or whatever. And she's like, can you please call me Lefiyea? And he's like, no, I can't do that. That's too close, and let's typically kanske there. It's kind of like you use the last surname or the first name. She's like, no, and of course, Felvis is afraid of getting friends, afraid of getting a lover. She's like, yeah, she wants to be alone, right? And she's like, I can't do that. It's like, hey, come on, for me. Don't you like me? She's like, Lefiyea. She's like, okay, Lefiyea. And they're super bad, both of them, right? Going back to the last week, I they were kind of touching each other on the bridge there, and they were kind of doing this kind of staring into their eyes, and I was like kissing, but it was kind of like another game, this kind of slow kiss, right? And they both stand next to each other, and they're kind of doing this thing, and they're almost like, this kind of maybe, honey, and they kind of building that, right? And also, of course, Beat enters like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Let's fucking walk out. We have to fight shit. We have time for your lovey-dovey shit right now, right? And it's like, even that they probably wouldn't have kissed that scene, the analogy was kind of there, right? And of course, him kind of canceling it by saying, what the fuck are you doing? We don't have time for your, like, whatever romantic thing you're doing. Like, let's go out and fight this bastard and save Ice. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, that even enforced it even more, right? Even though it wasn't that much, like, sexual tension or whatever, him kind of implying it made it more like that. Because both of them weren't probably thinking on it. Both of them were like, they weren't really, like, considering it probably. But him entering and saying, okay, are you kissing now? There's a time for that, can we leave? Like that, him going like, get a room, you idiots, after this journey, like, yeah, like that's made it like, oh, maybe, yeah, that's kind of putting in their head, right? And seeing this end here, that it feels like she's falling for Felvis, right? Because Ice is definitely, bumming her out, right? It's like, she's dreaming about Ice all the time. We see all these, like, 20 different faces of her, and, different up and downs, and in the end, interesting enough, she's falling for Felvis, and end up with Felvis. And Felvis is like, okay, I can kind of respond to that. Because obviously Felvis is much more inclined to her emotions, right? She asks her for a favor. She's like, yeah, okay, I can do that for you because I like you. And they actually kind of grow with each other, right? Lefiyea and Felvis, interesting enough. So I kind of liked it too. I kind of liked it. Like, the whole episode was about Lefiyea, obviously stalking Ice and like trying to, be with Ice. And it means necessary, right? But at the end, she was like, actually, this other woman is pretty nice as well, yeah. I find it interesting actually how they presented that. And of course also have Loki doing her oppa joke and so on, which is like, it's okay, but I feel that's an ongoing joke, so it's slightly funny that Loki is always perverted. But in the end, we do have actually two kind of major things here. We see Ice as a child, and she sees her father and mother, and also kind of black twist around and right and disappears, and she's like screaming as a child. She might have been there when her mother got killed or something, maybe on that actual floor that they're going to, so that's interesting. We don't get much of it though, so it's kind of like, that's a little of the story progression. We have the episode, right? The main, I would say, we don't get much of it. Obviously, they're kind of still hiding what Arya is. I'm going by what I said last week. She's a spirit. She's half human. I'm going with that thing again. I just feel like it was wrong for this, but it's definitely kind of like a mystery, right? And but yeah, but of course in the end there, she's with Heistia and Bell, and they do get attacked by these random, assassins, bandits. But it's definitely more assassins, right? Like I mentioned about walking, it's like, man, they're walking in some really dark neighborhood here. But it definitely doesn't feel like it's actually are some random bandits, right? They actually also kind of sent assassins, maybe by that dark spirit person, like her, that's their evil guys are fighting for, and so on, right? Something like that. So that's interesting, but it's hard to say, right? I mean, mainly it's about the yoke, but mainly it's about Lefiyea, her stalking, her Netoraring, and of course ending up with another woman. Like that's the episode's about, right? It's about Lefiyea finding love pretty much. So yeah, like I think it's a really really fun episode, but it's hard to say what it has to do with the main story, right? Because even if it has the main story part, every now and then the ending, there's a lot of it. Is kind of like. Last point I want to mention, of course, is that Heistia is always fun, right? Heistia is basically like, bitch, don't touch my man! And you see that pounding face, she's like, more! And then, of course, then she's like over-touching with Belle, like, Belle, let's go home! And then that's how it comes. So that's a great classic throwback to the original series, right? Anyway, see you next week and have a great